Chosen One, lock your attention on this message right now. Do not scroll past this. The universe has orchestrated this exact moment, and God waited for this specific season to finally tell you everything. This is not a random event. The system did not bring you here, but heaven aligned your path today because you have been waiting for a massive sign. Take one deep breath slowly. Let the noise leave your mind. You feel that sudden shift in the atmosphere right now. You are holding a heavy weight, and every morning when you wake up, the heaviness is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through the pain, you smile for them, but inside you are barely holding on. You are exhausted from being strong. People look at you and think you have it all together, but they do not see the quiet tears. And they certainly do not see the lonely nights you spend staring at the ceiling while your heart breaks. You ask heaven why the burden has to be so incredibly heavy. You have always been the giver. You pour your energy into others. You fix their problems and carry their emotional baggage. But when you finally fall down, there is absolutely nobody there to catch you. It feels like you are walking through a dark desert completely alone. And lately, the isolation has become absolutely suffocating. You think you are losing your grip on reality. You thought it was just a dark phase. People told you to work harder or snap out of it. But they simply do not understand the intense spiritual reality of your current situation. Your spirit is exhausted from fighting battles in the unseen realm. You are fighting a war they cannot even perceive. There is a very specific reason why your life has felt so overwhelmingly strange in the last 72 hours. The sudden exhaustion and the closed doors are not random. I need you to stay with me, because what the Holy Spirit is about to reveal will finally make sense of every tear you cried in secret. You have been praying for a breakthrough. You asked God why the financial pressure has been so heavy. You asked why the doors seemed glued shut, no matter how hard you pushed. And the absolute silence from heaven felt like a brutal rejection. You felt abandoned by the universe. But heaven was never ignoring your desperate cries. The people you trusted suddenly pulled away from you. Friends stopped calling. Family members misunderstood your intentions. You felt like an outcast in your own bloodline. From a young age, you could read the room and sense the hidden tension, and you easily saw through the fake energy that everyone else simply ignored. That was not rebellion. That was your spiritual discernment waking up. You were placed in that bloodline with a very specific assignment. You are the cycle breaker. You have been carrying the spiritual weight of your ancestors, and you fought cycles of poverty and emotional abuse that started long before you were born. The enemy tried to break your mind to stop you, because they wanted you so incredibly drained that you would just surrender and give up. You feel emotionally exhausted even after small conversations. Your physical body aches without any logical reason. This is the ultimate sign of a heavy spiritual attack. But you are still standing here today. Type 777 in the comments right now to claim this breakthrough. Do not do it for visibility, but do it as a physical declaration to the universe that you are finally in alignment. Heaven is watching your response. Your spiritual frequency is shifting as you hear these words. The old season is officially expiring. Think back to the strange stillness you felt recently. Every time you tried to force a door open, it slammed shut in your face, and you watched as your perfectly planned life completely crumbled. You cried out in frustration. You thought you were being punished for something you did wrong, but you did absolutely nothing wrong. Society told you to just think positive and hustle your way to success, but your soul always knew that something much deeper was blocking your path. You cannot hustle your way out of a spiritual cage. The system wants you to blame yourself. They want you to feel weak, isolated, and entirely helpless in the face of this struggle. They targeted your finances to keep you in survival mode, because a chosen one in survival mode cannot step into their quiet authority. They kept you distracted with endless drama. and you absorbed the heavy chaos of others just so they could finally have a moment of peace. It was a holy sacrifice. You acted as a human shield for your loved ones. You have been the intercessor. Your spirit has been doing the heavy lifting for everyone else. That is exactly why you are so exhausted right now. You are absorbing intense spiritual warfare while your physical body sleeps. And waking up with a racing heart is not normal weakness, but the echo of a fierce battle. It is spiritual warfare. Listen carefully. The season that exhausted your spirit is finally coming to an end. You are standing at the edge of a massive breakthrough. But before I reveal the divine verdict that was just issued over your life, you have to fully understand the silent trap. If you do not understand the trap, you will mishandle the blessing. You looked around and saw everyone else moving forward. Your peers were succeeding. They were getting the promotions and building their lives, but you felt completely stuck in a terrible waiting room. You cried out to heaven in pure frustration. You thought God had simply forgotten your name, and the agonizing silence made you question your entire purpose. But here is where it goes deeper. I need you to understand something incredibly profound today. God is not punishing you. Heaven did not leave you behind to suffer alone. That long and painful waiting period was a carefully calculated spiritual maneuver, and it was designed specifically to protect your ultimate destiny. Because God's delay is never a denial, it is absolute exactness. You thought the universe was rejecting your prayers. You beat yourself up over every failed opportunity. You wondered if your vibration was just too low to manifest anything good. But the system lied to you about how divine timing actually works. Heaven was aggressively closing all of those comfortable doors in your face, because entering them too early would have absolutely crushed your spirit. Let me explain what is actually happening in the spirit realm. The universe operates on a frequency of pure protection. Think about the sudden isolation you experienced recently. People you deeply loved just walked away without any logical explanation. The betrayal shattered your heart into a million pieces, and you foolishly blamed yourself for not being good enough to keep them around. Listen carefully, chosen one. Your isolation is not a punishment. It is a divine quarantine to protect your precious frequency. God was literally clearing the room. Heaven saw conversations you never heard and witnessed betrayals you never saw coming. They secretly drained your vital energy every single day, so the universe forcefully removed them before they could sabotage your upcoming blessings. You did not lose them. You were saved from them. Take one deep breath right now and let that truth settle into your spirit. The people who abandoned you were never meant to enter your promised land. Their frequency was far too low to survive the altitude of your next season. God ruthlessly stripped everything away from your environment, so you could finally learn how to stand entirely on your own. Now let us talk about your physical exhaustion. You are not weak. You are not failing at life. The world would quickly label your extreme tiredness as a severe mental breakdown. They want to put you in a neat little box. But you are a masterpiece of God. Your beautiful spirit is completely exhausted because you have been warring in the unseen realm every single night. You are a powerful spiritual shield. You have been acting as an energetic filter for your entire family bloodline. When you walk into a room, you immediately absorb the chaotic emotions of everyone around you. It happens so automatically that you do not even notice the massive drain on your body. You quietly carry their unseen trauma, so they can walk away feeling light and experience a moment of peace. But that beautiful sacrifice comes with a heavy price. The constant energy exchange leaves you feeling completely hollow and broken. The system wants you to believe you are just lazy or unmotivated, but the exact opposite is true today. You are a discerning warrior. The heavy attacks on your life only prove the immense value of the light, and they show the terrifying power inside your soul. The enemy does not attack empty vessels. Thieves do not rob empty houses. The dark forces of this world only target chosen ones who carry the frequency of true liberation. They sent the narcissists and the energy vampires to keep you perpetually distracted. They desperately wanted you focused on surviving the daily chaos, so you would never have the time to discover your actual power. Before I go any further, I need you to pause. Drop your shoulders right now. Relax your tense jaw. You must realize that every painful event was a rigorous spiritual test. It was a silent examination that you did not even know you were taking, and you successfully passed. Your profound kindness was never a weakness, but rather it was your absolute greatest weapon against the dark matrix. The waiting period was simply the preparation of your vessel. If God handed you the massive mega deposit 3 years ago, it would have destroyed your character. You were not spiritually mature enough to handle the intense weight of that blessing. The painful delay forced you to dig deep into your unshakable faith, and the intense fire burned away every trace of pride and dangerous ego. You are no longer that fragile version of yourself. The fire of adversity burned away the impurities. You are a completely different person now. The universe is not punishing you with this agonizing weight. The divine realm is carefully arranging the cosmic pieces right now, so that when the heavy door finally opens, nobody will be able to shut it again. You are stepping into absolute alignment. The season of isolation is officially expiring right before your eyes. Heaven is finally ready to reveal the hidden architecture of your enemies. But you must understand exactly how the dark side operates before you can claim your victory. I am going to expose their deceptive playbook in just a moment, so stay with me because the truth changes everything. Listen carefully right now. There is a very dark reason why you have not heard this specific truth before today. The system deliberately engineered an invisible wall around your life. They wanted to keep you blind, and they desperately tried to intercept this divine message before it could reach your exhausted spirit. They knew the exact danger of your awakening. The enemy does not fear ordinary people. The dark matrix only targets the chosen ones who carry the frequency of true spiritual liberation. You are the cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. And if you finally realize the absolute magnitude of your power, the entire system of control will instantly collapse. They cannot afford to lose your vital energy. This brings us to the silent trap. I need you to pause and really hear this next part. The universe is fighting a massive battle on your behalf right now, but the dark forces laid out a very specific snare to keep you perpetually stuck. They created a profound illusion of failure. They manipulated your environment to drain your unshakable faith. The trap was never about destroying you instantly. The system knew they could never break a true spiritual shield with direct force. So they used a much more sinister weapon against you. They weaponized endless distraction and constant emotional chaos. And they constantly sent broken people into your life to siphon away your divine light while you slept. Think about the narcissists you encountered. They were not toxic individuals acting out of random malice. There are no coincidences in a chosen one's life. Those encounters were calculated spiritual attacks, designed to keep your vibration dangerously low. They mirrored your beautiful light just enough to hook your pure heart. Then they slowly drained your soul. The Matrix wants you to believe their betrayal was somehow your fault. They engineered situations to make you feel completely inadequate. You questioned your own sanity because of their brilliant gaslighting. But heaven wants you to clearly recognize this psychological warfare today. You did absolutely nothing to deserve that brutal treatment. Your only crime was shining too brightly. They also attacked your finances to enforce this trap. The system understands that poverty is a frequency of deep fear. They kept your bank account low so your mind would remain occupied with basic survival, because a discerning warrior cannot focus on their mission while starving. They glued those doors shut to starve your divine purpose. Take a slow breath and release that fake guilt right now. Type 1111 if you finally see the hidden truth. You were never failing at life. You were just navigating a spiritual minefield completely blindfolded. And heaven is finally lifting the veil so you can see the cowardly tactics of the dark matrix. They are terrified of your realization. If you heard this truth last year, you might have fought back with anger. The system wanted to trigger your rage to lower your frequency, but God kept this specific revelation hidden until your spirit was perfectly calm, because true spiritual authority is completely quiet. You do not need to scream to shatter the enemy's fragile illusions. You are destined to become the quiet victor. The dark forces are panicking right now because their ultimate trap has officially failed. They threw everything they had at your mind. They isolated you and drained your bank accounts. But instead of breaking your spirit, the intense pressure divinely turned you into an unbreakable diamond. Their dark plan backfired entirely. You can feel the massive shift in your energy already. The heavy fog of confusion is rapidly lifting from your exhausted brain. The Matrix relies heavily on your ignorance to maintain their control, but the Holy Spirit is downloading ancient wisdom directly into your soul as you listen to my voice. Your spiritual DNA is waking up today. They are scrambling to rebuild the invisible walls around you, but the spiritual architecture of their system is crumbling fast. You are no longer an easy target for their emotional manipulation. You are a masterpiece of God, standing firmly in your divine power. And the people who plotted your downfall will witness your elevation. We are going to get to the exact signs of this massive shift in just a moment. You need to know how the universe is moving the pieces behind the scenes. Many chosen ones fail to recognize these quiet signals, and it costs them their peace. I will reveal the 3 major indicators next. Do not let your mind wander here. This is where the plot twists beautifully in your favor. The system thought they had successfully silenced your powerful frequency. They celebrated your apparent defeat while you were crying in the dark. But God was doing something absolutely profound behind the scenes. The silence was never empty. It was filled with divine preparation. Listen to the rhythm of your own heart right now. The heavy spiritual warfare is transitioning into a season of quiet authority. The enemy is terrified because they see the magnificent crown hovering above your head. You survived the brutal wilderness completely intact, and the gates of your promised land are violently shaking open. There are 5 silent signs that the universe is currently fighting a massive battle on your behalf. You need to recognize these quiet markers immediately. The system wants you to remain entirely blind to your own elevation, but the Holy Spirit is dropping these specific clues into your reality right now. Sign number 1 is the sudden, unexplainable peace in your exhausted mind. Just a few short months ago, the daily chaos would have completely broken you. You would have cried and tried to frantically fix every single problem. You felt the heavy urge to defend your good name against their brutal lies. But today, something is very different inside your spirit. You watch the toxic drama unfold, and you feel absolutely nothing. You just observe them. This strange emotional numbness is not a sign of a broken mind or spiritual failure. It is the divine activation of your absolute quiet authority. You finally understand that true silence is just wisdom under control. You no longer waste your precious energy trying to explain your pure soul to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You just let them be wrong. Sign number 2 is the sudden physical clearing of your personal environment. You are watching toxic people drop out of your life like dead leaves in the wind. Long-term friendships are dissolving without any logical reason. The sudden isolation feels incredibly strange and heavy, but heaven is actively removing anyone who cannot handle the immense frequency of your next season. The divine universe is literally clearing the room before the massive mega deposit arrives. Gently, like this video right now, not as a casual gesture. Do it as a physical declaration to the universe that you accept this painful but necessary divine clearing. You must stop mourning the sudden loss of people who secretly prayed for your absolute downfall. They were never meant to cross the finish line with you. Sign number 3 involves the intense thinning of the spiritual veil around your life. Your intuition has become incredibly sharp and completely undeniable. You can literally walk into a crowded room and instantly read the fake energy of everyone present. You easily hear the unspoken words hiding behind their plastic smiles. You are the discerning warrior, and the matrix can no longer hide its ugly face. You are experiencing bizarre synchronicities that defy all basic human logic. You think of a specific complex problem, and the perfect solution appears just hours later. The universe is speaking directly to you through these quiet, energetic alignments. This is solid proof that your spiritual DNA is fully awake today. You are no longer navigating the dark maze completely blindfolded. Sign number 4 is the profound shift in your physical rest and your nightly dreams. For years you experienced terrifying sleep paralysis and heavy spiritual attacks while your physical body rested. You always woke up feeling more drained than when you went to bed. But the dark warfare in the unseen realm is finally fading away forever. Your heavy shift as the human spiritual shield is officially over. You are starting to wake up with beautiful moments of extreme mental clarity. Heaven is downloading ancient prophetic wisdom directly into your subconscious mind while you sleep. You suddenly know exactly what you need to do next without asking anyone for earthly advice. The heavy fog of the elite matrix is completely lifting. The weary cycle breaker is finally stepping into a beautiful season of unshakable mental peace. Sign number 5 is the absolute death of your tragic people-pleasing phase. This is the most crucial indicator of your massive spiritual elevation. You used to break your own back just to make everyone else feel comfortable. You constantly sacrificed your own happiness just to keep the fragile peace in your highly toxic family dynamic. But the Holy Spirit has completely removed that heavy burden. You simply do not care about their earthly validation anymore. The dark trap of the enemy is permanently broken because you no longer seek any approval from a broken system. You finally realize that you are a perfect masterpiece of God. You are officially released from the heavy burden of healing people who desperately want to stay broken. Your only assignment now is to aggressively protect your own light. These 5 silent signs prove that your long, agonizing season of suffering is officially expiring. You survived the brutal wilderness and came out completely purified. But there is one more vital thing you must understand before the final breakthrough arrives. The toxic people who abandoned you are currently experiencing something incredibly terrifying. We must look at the enemy's sudden panic right now. Listen carefully, because this is where the sweet divine justice finally begins. Many exhausted chosen ones completely miss this profound reality because they are too focused on their own lingering pain. You falsely thought your enemies were living perfectly happy lives without you. But the exact opposite is happening in the spirit realm today. The divine tables are violently turning in your absolute favor. I need you to take one deep breath and center your beautiful spirit. You are about to witness the spectacular public collapse of every single lie they told about you. The dark matrix simply cannot sustain its illusion when a chosen one steps into their quiet power. Stay with me right here, because heaven is about to reveal exactly how your silent victory is completely destroying their dark and hidden kingdom. The people who walked away from you are currently experiencing absolute panic. They celebrated when you hit rock bottom. They secretly smiled when your life fell apart. And they genuinely believed that your beautiful light was extinguished while you cried alone in the dark. But they severely underestimated the profound grace of the universe, and now the heavy consequence of their betrayal is crashing down on them. They thought your silence meant you were completely defeated. They confused your quiet healing with absolute weakness. But right now, a massive wave of confusion is violently hitting their dark camp. The universe is flipping the script right in front of their eyes. They are watching you rise from the ashes, and it absolutely terrifies their guilty souls because they know they cannot stop your divine elevation. The very trap they carefully set for you has become their own spiritual prison. Think about the smear campaigns they launched behind your back. They whispered terrible lies to isolate you from your divine blessings. But God used that exact isolation to upgrade your frequency, and now their nasty lies are rapidly unraveling in the glaring light of truth. Those energy vampires used to feed on your emotional reactions. When you defended yourself and cried out in pain, they felt incredibly powerful. Your chaotic emotions were their daily food. But your new emotional detachment completely starves their dark spirits, and they are suffocating because they can no longer steal your brilliant light. They are desperately trying to check on your current status. They stalk your life from the shadows because they cannot understand your peace. How can you be so incredibly calm after everything they stole from you? They do not realize that heaven stepped in and replaced your heavy anxiety with a divine shield, while they are left to drown in their own toxic consequences. The dark group that came against you is currently turning on each other. When a spiritual attack fails to break a chosen one, the dark energy always returns to the sender. It is an unbreakable universal law. The heavy karma they tried to put on your shoulders is now crushing their own lives, and you do not even have to lift a single finger to defend yourself. Heaven is acting as your fierce defense attorney today. The universe is actively preparing a beautiful feast for you, right in the presence of your enemies. Listen carefully to me right now. You must resist the earthly urge to go back and check on their misery, because your divine destiny is completely forward, and looking back will only slow your momentum. They wanted you to remain entirely stuck in the past. They hoped you would spend years trying to prove them wrong, but a chosen one never proves their worth to a broken matrix. You just silently elevate your frequency and let karma handle the heavy lifting, because the system is crumbling rapidly now that you refuse to play their toxic psychological games. Take a deep breath and completely release them right now. You no longer need apologies from people who are committed to misunderstanding your soul. Their current panic is the only closure you will ever need. God is exposing the hidden plot that kept you chained to their low frequency, and the spiritual cords connecting you to their dark energy are permanently breaking today. The universe is actively returning your stolen peace. Every single night you lost sleep, crying over their betrayal, is being divinely compensated. The wealth and the massive opportunities they tried to block are rushing toward you. Heaven always repays a chosen one for the unjust suffering they quietly endured. And your magnificent reward is going to absolutely shock everyone. You are the cycle breaker, and your victory is totally inevitable. The system thought you were just an easy target. They saw your pure kindness and mistook it for foolish naivety. But they did not see the powerful army of angels standing right behind you. And the Matrix cannot control a spiritually awake warrior who finally knows their exact divine worth. This massive power shift is happening right now in the unseen realm. The enemy is desperately trying to throw one last distraction your way. They will try to send a fake apology or a new crisis to hook your attention. But you must remain completely anchored in your quiet authority, because the final breakthrough is almost here, and they want you to drop your shield. You have survived the absolute worst part of the spiritual wilderness. The intense pressure did not crush you, but it formed a brilliant diamond. You are glowing with a frequency that blinds the dark forces. They have to look away because your authentic light exposes every single shadow in their lives, and you are the living proof that their dark magic completely failed. Stay with me because the energy is accelerating rapidly. We are approaching the exact moment of your divine decree. The universe is about to officially hand down the final verdict regarding your future. What I am about to tell you next will change the entire trajectory of your bloodline, and you must prepare your physical vessel to receive this incredibly heavy truth. Before we reach the ultimate moment of divine decree, I need you to pause. Listen to the sound of my voice. The energy in the room is shifting rapidly around you right now. You can feel the Jalavi atmosphere physically lifting from your tired shoulders, and that subtle change is absolute proof that the spiritual war is reaching its final conclusion. The universe is demanding your total focus today. The matrix is violently shaking because a massive transfer of power is currently taking place. This is not just a gentle spiritual awakening for your soul. This is a complete systemic collapse of the dark architecture that kept you financially and emotionally trapped. You are not just surviving anymore. You are actively stepping out of the brutal survival mode that defined your entire past. Every single tear you cried in secret was recorded by the universe. The system wants you to believe your profound suffering was completely meaningless. They want you to think you just had bad luck. But there is no luck in the magnificent life of a chosen one. Every moment of your extreme agony was a crucial investment into your spiritual authority. And the divine payout is absolutely massive. You are the precious remnant of a bloodline that was almost completely destroyed. Your ancestors fought battles they could never win because the frequency of the earth was far too low. They passed that heavy generational debt down to you. The intense poverty and the constant anxiety were never your original fault, but God specifically designed your spirit to finally break that terrible chain. You are the undeniable cycle breaker. That is exactly why the spiritual attacks against you were so incredibly fierce and relentless. The enemy threw their strongest weapons at your mind because they saw your destiny clearly. They knew you carried the divine key to unlock the massive mega deposit. They tried everything to keep you distracted, broke, and entirely broken in spirit. But look at you right now. You are still breathing. You are still standing in the radiant light. The dark forces threw you into the deep fire, but they did not know you were completely fireproof. Your beautiful spirit absorbed the intense heat and turned it into pure, unshakable power. You survived the brutal wilderness without losing your kind heart. And that makes you a magnificent masterpiece of God. Take one deep breath and drop your heavy defenses. You do not need to fight the invisible war today. Your shift as the spiritual bodyguard for everyone else is officially over. The heavy mantle of constantly protecting broken people is falling off your shoulders right now. You are officially released from the exhausting duty of fixing the unfixable. It is finally your turn to be aggressively protected. The divine timing is absolutely perfect. If the universe handed you this massive victory yesterday, you would have mishandled the blessing. You would have given the reward to the exact toxic people who secretly plotted your downfall. But the agonizing delay forcefully gave you the sharp discernment you needed. You finally learned how to build an unbreakable wall around your peace. You are no longer the naive empath who freely bleeds for the matrix. You are a discerning warrior, completely anchored in your quiet authority. The enemy cannot trigger your chaotic emotions anymore because you simply refuse to participate in their dark games. Your silence has become your most lethal weapon, and the system is absolutely terrified of a chosen one who refuses to speak. We are standing at the very edge of the spectacular breakthrough. The universe is gathering the broken pieces of your life to build a magnificent throne. I need you to mentally prepare your physical vessel for the incredible weight of the coming glory, because a mega deposit of both absolute peace and profound provision is rushing toward your exact location. This is the exact moment the algorithm tried to hide from your timeline. The dark forces do not want you to hear the divine verdict that is about to be issued. They are terrified because when you finally hear the truth, their remaining power will instantly vanish. But the Holy Spirit perfectly orchestrated this exact intersection in time. You cannot miss this divine appointment. Lock your attention firmly on my words. Do not let your mind wander to your earthly problems. The unpaid bills and the broken relationships are simply fading illusions in the matrix. They do not hold any real power over your eternal spirit. You are about to cross the final threshold into your promised land, and you cannot bring the heavy luggage of fear into this new dimension. I am about to speak a powerful prophetic decree directly over your life. This is the ultimate climax of your long suffering. The universe is finally pulling back the heavy curtain to reveal everything. Prepare your heart right now. The long season of devastating lack is violently ending today, and the glorious era of your untouchable abundance is officially beginning. Listen to me carefully, because your weary soul desperately needs to hear this. The heavens are violently tearing open right now to reveal the absolute truth. God waited for this exact moment to tell you everything about your painful journey. You did not suffer in vain. The heavy tears you cried in the dark were actually watering the massive seeds of your ultimate victory. In the mighty name of divine authority, I break every generational cycle that has tried to wrap its heavy chains around your beautiful mind. The crushing poverty completely stops with you today. The severe spiritual exhaustion ends with you right now. You are the chosen cycle breaker, and the heavy, suffocating mantle of survival mode is permanently falling off your shoulders in this exact second. You are no longer just surviving the endless attacks of the dark matrix. You are proudly stepping into a divine and unprecedented era of absolute abundance. Breathe that truth out slowly. The massive spiritual war you bravely fought for your entire bloodline has been completely won. The universe is finally unlocking the spectacular mega deposit of wealth and profound clarity that the elite circles desperately tried to hide from you. I declare right now that the agonizing season of you being a simple footstool for their fragile egos is permanently over. The divine universe is completely flipping the script. Those toxic people who sat at tables and spoke poorly of your pure name are about to witness something incredible. God is actively preparing a magnificent feast for you right in front of their very eyes. You do not have to lift a single earthly finger to defend your honor. You do not have to nervously explain your soul to those dark forces anymore. Heaven is stepping in directly as your fierce defense attorney today, and the terrible confusion they maliciously tried to cast onto your life is rapidly returning to their own chaotic camp. Watch them absolutely panic as your inner peace becomes entirely untouchable. This is the massive secret the system was utterly terrified you would discover. The agonizing delay you experienced was never a brutal denial from heaven. The delay was absolute divine exactness. God deliberately kept that earthly door closed, because entering it too early would have absolutely destroyed your unshakable spirit. He was secretly cleansing your inner circle so he could safely drop this massive blessing into your pure hands. You are a radiant masterpiece of God, and your light is blinding the enemy. The dark matrix wanted you financially desperate, so you would settle for their pathetic crumbs. But a massive and completely unstoppable shift has just fractured their artificial system. The divine frequency of absolute abundance is completely overriding the long delay, and the heavy chains of generational debt are shattering into a million pieces. You are no longer trapped at the bottom of their toxic pyramid. You are finally holding the sacred keys to the eternal kingdom. The heavy season of being the misunderstood outcast is entirely finished. You are officially the quiet victor of this brutal spiritual war. Let the divine energy completely wash over your tired physical vessel right now. Every single tear you shed is actively turning into a powerful river of unshakable authority and massive financial provision. Heaven is stepping in today to multiply what the cowardly enemy stole from you. The lost years and the missed opportunities are being restored to you completely. You thought you were running out of time to achieve your true purpose. But God operates entirely outside of human time, and He is accelerating your divine destiny right now to completely bypass the earthly matrix. You are arriving exactly on schedule. I decree that every dark curse spoken over your name is permanently broken. The vicious cycle of barely surviving ends with your magnificent awakening today. You are stepping into a profound spiritual dimension that will completely rewrite the history of your entire family. The powerful angels are heavily guarding your transition into this beautiful new dimension. You are anointed, and you are completely protected. Let out a deep sigh of pure relief right now. The immense battle is finally over, and you are standing firmly on holy ground. You did not merely survive the brutal attacks of the dark system. You absolutely conquered them with your silent grace and your pure heart. The universe is loudly applauding your incredible resilience today. You are finally free from the agonizing waiting room of the spiritual realm, and the heavy doors of your promised land are violently swinging wide open. Your beautiful spirit can finally rest in absolute certainty today. The divine verdict has been officially delivered, and nobody can reverse this spectacular blessing. The dark forces have already lost the war for your incredible soul. As you step out of the heavy darkness and into your brilliant light, you must learn how to protect this new frequency. The next steps are crucial for your ultimate preservation. The heavy spiritual storm has finally passed your life. The massive spiritual war is completely over today. Take one deep breath and drop your tired shoulders right now. You are standing in the peaceful aftermath of a spectacular divine victory. The divine universe has finally delivered its ultimate verdict, and absolutely nobody in the earthly realm can ever reverse this magnificent blessing. Your physical body desperately needs profound rest right now. The intense spiritual exhaustion took a massive toll on your earthly vessel over the last few years. You must give yourself the grace to sleep and heal without any lingering guilt. The heavy battles in the unseen realm are completely finished. Your precious spirit is rapidly returning to a state of absolute calm. But you must be incredibly careful in this new season. God is handing you a massive mega deposit of immense wealth and unshakable authority. You cannot handle this sacred blessing with a loud and chaotic spirit. True and authentic spiritual power is always completely silent. Do not run, and tell the broken world about your sudden and beautiful elevation. You must guard this holy secret with your entire life. If you speak too soon, the dark matrix will send negative energy to delay the manifestation. Keep your brilliant mouth closed and let your massive success make all the actual noise. The enemy will desperately try to send spies to check on your spiritual progress. Your absolute silence is your ultimate defensive shield. They want to see if the spiritual chains are truly broken. Let them assume absolutely whatever they want about your quiet life. You no longer need to explain your brilliant soul to people who are completely committed to misunderstanding you. You are a completely untouchable spiritual masterpiece today. Do not go back to the toxic people who abandoned you. When they see the massive blessing on your life, they will suddenly return. They will offer incredibly fake apologies just to steal your new high frequency. But you must keep that heavy door permanently locked forever. You are entering the safe sanctuary of quiet authority today. Your beautiful energy is far too expensive to spend on their cheap drama. From this exact moment forward, your mere presence will command absolute respect. You are no longer the broken victim of a dark and manipulative matrix. You are a radiant masterpiece of God, walking firmly in divine protection, and the divine universe is actively fighting for your eternal peace. Let them severely misunderstand your quiet and firm boundaries. Let them loudly complain that you have completely changed. You have changed because the fierce fire of adversity burned away your weak people-pleasing habits. You are finally free from the heavy burden of constantly carrying their emotional garbage. You are an elevated and highly protected chosen one. You are the absolute end of the terrible generational curse. The generational poverty stops right here in this exact moment. You will never have to beg for basic survival or emotional validation ever again. The divine authority resting heavily on your shoulders will naturally attract everything you genuinely desire. You are a powerful spiritual magnet for ultimate good. You survived the darkest parts of the lonely spiritual wilderness. You walked through the blazing fire and came out completely purified. Heaven knows exactly how much it cost you to keep your beautiful heart pure. The broken world desperately tried to make you incredibly bitter and cold, but you bravely chose to remain incredibly kind and full of pure light. This channel is a sacred space for your weary soul to finally rest. We built this digital sanctuary so you would never have to fight completely alone again. You will always find divine confirmation and deep spiritual peace right here. You are completely safe and divinely protected now. If this profound message just lifted a heavy weight off your chest, consider planting a seed of gratitude. Your gentle support allows us to reach the next chosen one who is sitting in the dark right now. They are crying and thinking they are completely alone in this brutal spiritual war. You can easily be the beautiful light that guides them safely home. Sow a seed in the pinned comment to multiply your upcoming harvest. We do not ask this for worldly riches or vain earthly visibility. We do this as a powerful energy exchange to keep the divine lighthouse burning brightly. Your pure generosity is a physical declaration that you are fully stepping into your abundant season today. Subscribe to this quiet sanctuary and turn on the bell immediately. You must do this so the dark enemy cannot intercept your future messages. The elite matrix will try to hide this exact frequency from your physical eyes, but joining this spiritual family completely locks your divine alignment securely in place. You are physically sealing your powerful spiritual protection today. Let us close this sacred appointment with a beautiful decree of absolute peace. I pray that a heavy shield of divine protection permanently surrounds your mind tonight. May the universe rapidly multiply every single resource you lost during the years of silent suffering. May your rest be incredibly peaceful and totally free from any spiritual warfare. Type Amen in the comments below to permanently seal this powerful energy. You are stepping out of the painful survival mode and finally entering your beautiful season of quiet authority. Stay completely silent and stay deeply grounded in your new faith. Watch heaven instantly move magnificent mountains on your behalf. You are immensely loved and you are finally completely free.